is here. Good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Sports Guy Show is here, also known as Shaked Bar-Tal. How is everyone doing tonight? I hope everyone is having a great night, a great Wednesday. We are waiting for NFL insider with 25 years of experience, Alex Bryant, to join the stream. Please hit the like button. Please subscribe. Please help the channel monetize. Wednesday night on the channel, talking football, talking NFL, waiting for NFL insider, the legend, the man, the legend, the expert, Alex Bryant, to join me live. And we will be talking football. We'll be talking the NFL draft. So, apologize for not having the guests on. I mean, Alex Bryant should have already been joining me, but like I said, he's an NFL insider, so he's speaking to an agent right now, trying to figure when he will join me. Hopefully, it will be tonight. Hopefully, the show will be on tonight. Because that is the goal, guys. That is the goal, that Alex Bryant will join me tonight live. Not tomorrow, because tomorrow he has NFL related stuff to attend to, so he cannot join my show tomorrow. So we schedule it tonight, talk NFL draft. So let's hope that his phone call with the NFL agent will end right away so he can jump in and he can join us and we can talk NFL football, Carolina Panthers, NFL draft, and try to figure the top 10 pick potentially, maybe the top 15, top 20. Try to figure if we'll have some trades, we will not have trades, and so on. Try to figure the NFL draft. Thank you, Brady. Thank you for hitting the like button. Thank you, everyone. Hope everyone. Well, that other link didn't work. That's what happened, my friend. Other link didn't work. And guys, feel free to share the stream. Feel free, everyone. You have my permission. Share the stream. That is how channel and YouTube grows. Share the streams. Share the streams with your family. Share the stream with your loved one. Share the stream with your co-workers. Share it. Absolutely share it. You know how you share a video. Also hit the like button, please. Subscribe if you haven't done so. Trying to get this channel to monetize. Trying to get 500 plus subscribers. Trying to get 3,000 plus viewing hours. Trying to do YouTube full time. I know this videos in gaming category, and guess what? I love video games. I want to broadcast the best video game quality in a camera, not in a webcam, not on a cell phone. We need the channel to monetize so I can invest in a $800 plus camera. I can do that. I can bring you the best football games, the best video games out there on YouTube. I really can. So the goal is to get the channel monetized before college football 2026 come out. Okay, thank you, my friend. You can also watch, while we're waiting for Alex, watch my Road to Glory football videos, all of them that I have posted. They were so much fun. I really had a great time. So go ahead and watch my Road to Glory videos from start to finish. All of them. I posted 3 videos, each one about an hour and a half. Which, trust me, I didn't post it an hour and a half because I want, for example, a video to be boring for an hour and a half. Hour and a half is basically how long it took me to complete a season. So freshman, junior, sophomore, and the senior season. Basically an hour. Between an hour and 20 minutes to an hour and 55 minutes. That's how long it took me for each uh, Road to Glory series. So season, like a freshman, took me hour and 25 minutes. And then, of course, during each uh, episode, or 4 episode, what's up, Pizza? Pizza Man, what's up? What's up? What's up? Great to see you, Pizza Man. So here he is. Here's the legend.
Hello, hello, hello.
Hey man, how you doing?
I'm good, man. Sorry about that. I was meeting with somebody, so
It's all good. I mean, we
I'm
know NFL insiders. You spoke with the NFL agent, so it's all good. Feel free, by the way, to share the stream on Twitter if you don't mind, because if I step off the screen, I'm going to disappear for a bit.
all right now.
Thank you. So, thank you for doing that. So, like I said, guys, we have a NFL insider, 25 years of experience, more than Ian Rappaport, more than Adam Schefter. I mean, even Gronk. When I posted on Twitter, and we know Gronk how accurate it is. When I posted on Twitter, Alex Bryant is joining me. Gronk stated to make sure to ask Alex Bryant about the story from uh, Des Bryant from 2005, 2015, I believe, or 2005, that you wrote about it article. So I'm not, yeah, so of course you can talk about that article if you like, but the reason why we have you on is, after all, you're in New York. So New York, there's more information, and we are 15 days away from the NFL draft, and I feel like it's taking forever to get here, to be honest with you.
About this, and in in like the past, I think 10 years, I can't remember. I did a video on this. I posted about this. In the past 10 years, from from March 27th through the draft, we've usually made 2 moves, at least 2 starter level moves. Like last year, we did Davion Clowney and Trey Davis, I believe.
Yeah.
But usually from the March 27th to the draft, we make 2 moves, and specifically this year, the cap space is. I can go into mathematical weird detail about this, but it sets up for either one humongous move, which would be like a big signing that you would like a DK kind of signing, right? Or 2 starter level moves, which would make sense based on historical data that says this usually happens in cap data. I don't know what the Panthers are doing because Panthers have been super weird lately, the last 2 years. Very unlike the Panthers and David Tepper, but I, I, all I can say is what the numbers say. The numbers say that we're still looking to do something. Um, I don't know what that could be though. I have no idea.
Yeah. No, but I mean, draft wise, the no, we actually did make a move. We signed a tight end from who used to play college basketball,
Yeah. Sure. Yeah. Yeah. Yes. Cool.
and actually, I like. I don't know much about him. I'm sure you do because you watch the tapes, but he seemed like very optimistic person. Like,
No, guys, come on. Like Jordan Matthews couldn't make this team, right? Like he was basically on and off the team forever, and he was I think he's 1,000 yard receiver with the Eagles, and he
yeah,
can barely make this team. This dude's been playing football for a month. I, I, if I don't see any way he makes the team. I think he might live on the practice squad for a year, maybe, and then he could make the team the following year. Or maybe if we get really hurt, like he could be a depth piece, like later on in the year. Yeah, we gotta stop being Panther fans for a second though. Like, dude never played football before. He just got finished with college basketball a month ago.
right.
If you watch his tape, yeah, yeah, he's athletic, but there's I I think that Panther fans are just dying for something to happen. Um,
No, but
I highly doubt he makes the team.
no, but what I was saying, probably there's interruption. What I was saying, I really like his attitude because he's
Oh
very. You
yeah,
watch
sure.
his video, he mentioned if I can do it, anyone can do it, and also he definitely need a brand new wiper blade. He desperately need a brand new wiper blade because they were going basically yaya. They were terrible, and I definitely hope the Carolina Panthers brought him new wiper blade. But I mean, I mean, it won't it's a shot. You have nothing to lose by signing that kid.
Sure. Yeah. It just sucks that like we're gonna sign. So say we draft our nine picks. We're not gonna draft nine picks. I think we're gonna probably draft seven. We're gonna use a couple of them to trade somehow or another. And then we're gonna sign probably six undrafted free agents. And these six undrafted free agents are gonna be guys that have been playing football for 10 years, and no one's gonna give gonna care about them at all. They're like not gonna make the team. They're not gonna be worth any like Imani Bailey. Like think about Imani Bailey. Like he's on. I think he's on the roster right now as like our fifth running back or something like that. He was like exciting. Like people were kind of excited about him, sort of coming out of the draft. And this is a dude that has like actually played college football, made like it was a big deal in college football, and been playing football forever, and no one's even giving him like kind of any respect at all. And then we get this just random dude who just gets signed to this team that has no he has talent, but he no football skill at all, and he gets the shine because nothing else is happening. I feel bad for the other undrafted free agents that are that, that come out this year because of that.
Right, but let's all not forget Jalen Coker was undrafted, and he's we can make a case he's the best wideout on the team
But
right
Jalen Coker played football for like 10 years of his life. This guy has just done nothing. He's just like college basketball. And I know
now.
you have the Jimmy Grahams of the world, and Jimmy actually went to high school with Jimmy Graham, and he's a fantastic athlete. But he played a whole year of college football before he got drafted, before he was Jimmy Graham, and that's probably the only other person you can like put your finger on that never played football, and then just all of a sudden just transferred from football to basketball and
What about
was it anything.
what about Antonio Gates?
I'm not that old that I remember when he was drafted. When he was drafted,
I don't,
1990.
right, I don't
um,
think he was drafted, but he used to play basketball. He used to play basketball
Wait, did
before.
he play basketball? He played basketball and football though, right? Like Julius Peppers played basketball and football.
No. I think he only played basketball. Then he gave up on it and played football. Antonio
But he
Gates.
played football. He played football in college though, right?
No, actually, I think
He
think
just
he
came to
played.
the NFL.
I think he
He only
played.
played basketball.
Yeah, I
Oh, I
think
thought
he
he played
played.
basketball and football. Like,
I'm not sure, but I
he,
mean, Julius Pepe was very good college basketball, pretty good college football, and yet he
no,
decided,
he's really good college football. He was pretty good college basketball.
yeah. So he decided on the NFL. He could have probably also made it to the NBA, but so I also since since we last talked last week ago, we had a
Yep.
great show. Then it appeared like potentially the Steelers might be a team to trade up for Shadow. That is what rumor is going on around here. Which,
Eh,
yeah, we're talking about you.
Panther Bo is in the chat. Panther Bo, what are we doing the show? When are you coming on?
Yeah, but we are talking about
We got a
you.
three-way this.
We are talking about you, Bo. I mean, you called the radio station earlier today. Tell me, you SMS the radio station. Your usual Indiana usual fan calling to the radio station. Your best friend from Indiana. But anyway. So we're saying the Steelers might be interested in
and
trading.
so I so I think I don't know if I said this on the show. So I used to work at Amazon. I used to new products division at Amazon. I used to build teams that basically brought new products to market at Amazon. So during this process, we work with PR firms that got professional athletes. Like I worked with like directly with Draymond Green, right? Um, so I know a lot of the big PR firms, which is why I had some understanding on some of the big rumors about wide receiver, right?
Yeah,
But it meant that I had to actually reach out to these people that I had relationships with in a kind of like icky situation, being like, "Hey, I know you're not supposed to say anything, but can you tell me anything about what's going on, right?" Um, and it it made it not worth it because the things that I heard, I would say, and people would just kind of say that I didn't have any kind of intel. Um, but I'm very interested in. I do know who represents uh, TJ Watt as far as their PR, as far as PR from TJ Watt, because he does commercials and stuff like that. So they have to have a team that makes him look a certain way. And he put something on Instagram that was like a peace sign, kind of like moving on from the Steelers. So it makes me really, really want to reach out to them and ask them about TJ Watt. But that's very, very, very interesting if Steelers want to move up to 8 and TJ Watt thinks he might be out the door.
because I'm thinking if they move up, it's because they want Shadow Sanders. Because they
Sure, of course. Yeah, that's the only reason that they would ever move up.
because
That's the reason anybody would move up right now is for quarterback.
right, which we all know this is a very weak quarterback class. It really is
Yeah,
historical. Probably not
yeah.
probably not as bad as a couple of years ago when we had Desmond Riddle, Kenny Pickett, and the guy I forgot his name from the Packers who's Malik Willis. So
Malik Willis. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
now
Um,
probably not
Matt Corral.
probably
Yeah,
not as and I think the only
Sam
player
Howell.
yeah, exactly. Sam Howell, no reason why I'm wearing the UNC shirt, but Sam Howell actually out of all of the quarterback drafted in that class, I think he's probably the best quarterback out of those group. And that is saying,
Yeah, him or Desmond Ritter. Yeah, whatever. They both played about the same amount of snaps.
right, but Desmond Riddle is a bust. He really is.
So is Sam Howell. Like, I mean, like they're both like. So is Malik Willis. They're all like none of them are have panned out.
Right. No, you're right. But Sam Howell basically took like 75 sacks. So that, similar to Bryce, similar to Bryce Young. But my point is that quarterback class was really bad. This quarterback class
Sure.
outside of Cam Ward, it's not very sexy per se. I mean,
Yeah, it's not that bad, but
it's it's
it's not great. Yeah.
like I saw Jackson Dowd is being rumored by
Yeah.
Saints, Rams, Rams, which is kind of interesting. Potentially the Saints. In my I'm wondering, like we talked last week, we know the Raiders, they're not going to go Shador. We know that
Yeah.
the Giants might go Shador,
I doubt it, but
the
I think a lot of people are calling the Panthers. I think a lot of people are probably calling the Panthers right now. And I think that is why you see a lot of non top tier talent be looked at by the Panthers. Like the Panthers, like think about the top 30 visits. They well, who they had. Like they had Tet Golden, I think
Shaman,
Shador, and then Jalen
Fogelson,
Walker.
and Fogelson,
Who?
Jalen
Yeah,
Fogelson.
but Ferguson's going to be a late round. Like, he's not going to be a first round. I'm talking about like at eight, at
Yeah.
eight.
So
And
Shaman, I think,
I think Mikael Williams and I think they were actually local visits. Technically, I think the Georgia guys were actually local visits. I think Shamar Stewart, I think Tet and Golden are the ones that you would think at eight would be visits, and then everybody else is a local visit. And then since then, it's been guys that you would see in the second, third round as far as like offensive tackle or edge rushers.
it,
So yeah, it kind of feels like eight's going to be on the move. I think eight's. I think it's more likely than not eight's going to be traded. And I think it's going to be traded because people want to jump the Saints for a quarterback. Because I think that's probably the I think Saints are either drafting Dart or Shador, and then somebody is probably going to want to jump them to get the other one of them.
right. So the question is, what is the draft capital? Is it worth it? I mean, let's say hypothetically the Steelers trade up for eight. Obviously,
Yeah,
we are not getting TJ Watts, and honestly
I
speaking,
don't know. He said he said he put a Instagram post up like peace. I'm out. Like
but
I don't know.
I
Why would he post that?
contract. You want a contract.
I understand that, but it, if he, it's like Tyreek Hill, the worst. I don't think Tyreek Hill's going to be back because he keeps on posting the peace sign.
Right.
Like, and I agree. I doubt TJ Watt's going to be gone. I really do doubt it. But Pickens, I mean, as as soon as they start looking at these later so I look at Panther Bow. Panther Bow. I, I'm going to go back for to like 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago when I can't remember when DK Metcalf got traded. DK Metcalf was in the final year of his contract, was traded for with big draft capital, and immediately extended. George Pickens was putting up very similar numbers to DK Metcalf, and he hasn't been extended yet. It hasn't been offered an extension yet, and he got one more year left of his contract. They can't pay him. They just don't have the money to pay him or a guy like TJ Watt. If they were trading up to eight, I would assume that either TJ Watt or Pickens would be on the table. If it was Pickens, just say it was Pickens. Let's just go on that narrative, right? Just say it's George Pickens. They haven't been taking any other wide receiver calls. It's been Q Robertson, Kyle Kennard, Brady Swinson. It's all been pass rushers. So say that you trade eight for 21 and George Pickens. You get your receiver that you need, and then all these other guys you've been bringing in, these pass rushers. Is he? I can't remember how to say his name. But all these guys that your top 30 visits have been these like later in the first round, early second round picks. Makes a lot more sense if you say hey, we got our receivers, so we're not worried about bringing in Burden or Ibuka or Higgins or those guys because we're going to get bringing in George Pickens, and then you get say you just double dip and at 21 you get I don't know, let's say Ezeka whatever, and then or you say you get your offensive tackle that you've been looking at in Ursary, and then you get Swinson or Burt or
Here's,
who knows who's gonna be there
here's,
for your pass rushers.
here's the issue. Is George Pickens, I mean, we know he's talented. The question is he the next Deontay Johnson? That is the question. Because
Ugh.
Pickens, if I remember correctly, he had some character off the field issue at Georgia.
Sorry, I'm laughing at Bo. Go ahead. Yeah, go
If I remember,
ahead.
he had he had a off the field issue at Georgia.
Yeah. Yeah, they all do. Like all these receivers, like apparently Ayuk has an attitude. AJ Brown has an attitude. They just won a Super Bowl. Tyree Hill has an attitude. The Chiefs won a Super Bowl with him. I mean, receivers are just divas. Like they just are. Like Jamar Chase, I got to make $1 million more than Justin Jefferson, and then Justin Jefferson has been called a diva. Like all these receivers are being called divas. It's almost like a media narrative that we just like kind of fall into, and then once you hear it over and over and over again, yeah, it's just receivers are divas. That's just what they are. Like you just have to,
No,
you got to get over it. I guess like all of them are. All like every single top tier receiver is a diva, if you will.
the
Um,
the thing
yeah, Malik Neighbors, we heard the same shit about him. Yeah, he's amazing. Like it's
but the thing
yeah, same shit.
the thing is, my friend, if that is diva or if that is attitude of the field issue,
Depends on the coach.
because
Depends on the coach.
Tyreek Hill. I mean, we owed what we owed early on, which honestly I would stay away from him, even if for free. But
Yeah.
thank you, Bill. I don't know who you're flowing to. But so, but also the thing is, we're trading down Dalton spot. The Steelers don't have a second round this year. They have a third round. I honestly, if I'm the Panthers, I ask for George Pickens. I trade down Dalton spot. I ask for a first round next year, beside the 21, because wideout, even though Pickens is a good wideout, I don't think that is enough value to trade down Dalton spot, and basically you swipe a first round pick.
I think you're
Because
right. I think that they get both. I think they would get 21, a first, and they would get Pickens for 13 spots. I mean, maybe we
right,
have to give them back a fifth or something like that. But yeah, we
yeah,
don't do that unless we get a first next year too.
right. I mean, we have multiple fifths. We have three fifths, so
Yeah,
that could be that could be a possibility. The question is, do they like Pickens? And as far as TJ Watt, after what he
yeah.
did to Cam Newton, I don't think TJ Watt is ever welcome in Charlotte, to be honest with you. Because
Oh,
basically,
I don't think I don't think they're trading him. I think you're right. I think it's a contract thing.
but
Uh,
even even if they trade him, after what he did to Cam Newton, which sure was a clean play, but basically that play literally
no,
destroyed Cam Newton's career. Literally did.
I think Panther fans would be okay with forgiving him. Like, it's TJ Watt. Like it's TJ Watt.
Yeah, you can.
Like,
But it's also, if I'm not mistaken, he's approaching 30 years old. So it's not like,
we're not getting TJ Watt.
right.
I mean, we're just not. I guess not even a narrative. They ain't. This is a generational dude. Like it's like trading
Yes,
Miles
but
Garrett. Like yeah, they're not. George Pickens, on the other hand, they just traded a top a second round pick and extended a dude that had a year left on his contract. When you're George Pickens, and they both play the traditional X receiver, right? Who's playing the Z? Like it doesn't make sense that George Pickens would be on this team. and I'm just talking about logic. I'm not talking about anything that I know. I'm just talking about logically. George Pickens, you would think would be in any trade package possible. And we've seen that they get rid of wide receivers a year early. Deontay Johnson, Chase Claypool, Juju Smith, like they don't let these guys just leave in free agency. They give away a year early. And I highly doubt George Pickens is going to be okay just sitting there. Hey, I have a year left my deal. I put the same numbers as DK Metcalf. They traded for him, gave him 120 million extra dollars to his contract, and I'm just sitting here on a rookie deal, like not making anything. I
The
would
que-
assume if they traded up to the Panthers that Pickens would be a part of that trade, and I think that we would get 21 and next year's first. I think we would have to.
the
I think there's too many bidders.
the question is, do the Panthers want to take a chance on another Steeler wideout, knowing what took place with Deontay Johnson last year?
Yeah, who cares?
Basically, you
Honestly, who cares? Like if they get him, say he doesn't work out, you still get 21, and say that just say who I'm trying to how do you say this guy's name? Is Zeke is a deep draft. You'd be okay with him at 8, regardless. So you get Pickens on a year. Maybe he's good, maybe he's not. You get Shabar Stewart, who you were looking at 8 anyways, and you get a first next year. So you win either way. Like it doesn't mean that you have to keep him, but he'd be a part of the trade. He'd suffice as your ex wide receiver. You get a much better wide receiver free agency class next year. You have Excel playing his traditional, like what he should be playing as a Z, a downfield kind of guy. You have Coker playing his slot. You get Thielen, who only has to play 50 snaps a game. You get some depth in your receiving corps because freaking A. Like you have TJ Luther that right now is going to make your roster. Dax Milne, like Dan Chisnia, like those are the guys that are your depth pieces on your roster. So you add depth in your roster. You don't have to worry about drafting a guy early, like Ted McMillan, who you have no idea what he's going to be like. You still get a good pass rusher. You get an offensive tackle you're looking at. You're getting a safety that you're looking at. It works out all around if that actually happens. I don't know that it's actually going to happen, but I'm saying that's I wouldn't worry so much about the diva-ness of Pickens. It's more about like, yo, you just saw what Deontay Johnson did, right? You're gonna learn from that, right? Like, because we're okay moving on from you, just like we were okay moving on from Deontay Johnson. And look how much money that dude lost. So I think that it would work all around. If you don't like them, you mean you get an extra first next year. Like it's and that class is going to be way better as far as quarterbacks and receivers. And what's going to happen next year? You have two first, and people are going to want to trade up to get a quarterback in a great quarterback class. I think that
well,
it's good. It'd be good all around if they did that.
wait, but why would they need to trade for a quarterback next year?
They wouldn't need to, but they'd have two first round picks, and somebody else would want to trade for a quarterback.
Right, because we are hoping Bryce will lead us to the promised land. That is what we are hoping in Charlotte. We don't
But if
want
he
to.
doesn't, but if he doesn't, then you have a great class coming up, and you just said, "Hey Bryce, I've given you George Pickens, first rounder Xavier Leggett, and Jalen Coker / Adam Thielen, and you can't get it done." Well, then I got this great quarterback class coming up. So on multiple levels, you just really helped yourself out if you make that trade. If that trade's available, I still don't know that it's available, but if it is, it's I don't see a bad side to that trade, assuming you get Pickens in that trade.
So you would do this trade over Jalen Walker if Jalen Walker is available at 8, which we know they really like him.
Yeah,
Supposedly,
I think that the if I was just talking about value, it depends. It all depends on how they feel about one, what they can, what just say it's a combination of say they think that Princely whatever his name is one of the guys that they really like, right? One of the edges they really like. So say they get him, and then they get Demetrius Knight from the South Carolina.
Yeah.
So you get your linebacker that you think that Jalen Walker could play, and you get your pass rushers that you think could be your pass rusher. You get both of them. You still get your receiver that you would need, and you have two firsts next year, and you bring back the guy that you like in Trayvon Wallace. It all depends on how they feel about those three guys, versus like say for example, it's the same thing as Milton Williams, right?
Yeah.
They said we like Milton Williams, but we're okay getting Wharton and Bobby Brown for the same cost. Think about the cost. Jalen Brown and I don't know. It seems like Jalen Brown's not going to be there because a lot Patriots are not interested. Raiders are interested. I don't know if he's going to be there at 8. And I don't know if they think that he's going to be there at 8.
Jalen Walker, not Jalen Brown. Jalen Brown playing for the
Oh, Jalen
Saints.
Walker. Sorry, Jalen Walker. Sorry, I'm a dad brain. He might not be there.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it all depends on how you think about the same way as Milton Williams. Yes, we'd love to have Milton Williams, but if we can get Wharton and Brown and keep that cap, it's the same idea of yes, we really like Jalen Walker, but if we can get Pickens, Shamar Stewart, and Demetrius Knight, and a first next year, it, it, it's all about how you view it as a team. For me, 1,000,000,000%. Because one, I give Bryce an actual X receiver, put Excel in his actual natural position, put Coker in his actual natural position, and see what happens. I'd rather go into the season knowing that my quarterback's taken care of, and if he sucks, then I know how to proceed next year with 2 first-round picks.
Because the thing is, let's say potentially the Pats take Jalen Walker.
Yep.
That could means Abdul Kader or Travis Hunter. One of those two might drop.
Yeah, probably not. I think it's gonna go. I think it's gonna go Ward, Hunter, Carter, and then Patriots are a wild card, and then Graham's gonna go to the Jags. I think that's how it's gonna work out. But in your situation, if they drop, it means that Shador is gone at 2 or 3, right? That's the only way they drop is if the quarterback's taken,
No.
right?
I'm saying the Titans are taking Ward. It's all but certain.
Sure. Yeah.
The Browns, I think the Browns were interested in Jalen Walker, if I remember correctly. The Browns and the
I
Packers.
haven't heard that. But if that's
So let's say
if the Browns pass, go ahead. Sorry, I'm even interrupting you.
Sorry, it's okay. Let's say the Browns take Shador. The Browns take Shador.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
And then we have the Giants. The Giants, let's say, take Mason Graham. Then the Pats take Jalen Walker. Now
Sure.
we have Travis Hunter, Abdul Kader drafting. The Jags, I don't think they will take either of those two. They might go with Will Compton. Then or Will Johnson.
Sure.
So let's say they go with Will Johnson.
Sure.
The Raiders, they probably won't go with Calder. They might go with Hunter, but I doubt it. They will probably go with Gentry.
Oh, they definitely go with Hunter. But sure, your scenario, go ahead.
Sure. So they go with Gentry. Now the Jets. I think the Jets will definitely go with Calder, but Hunter can definitely sell tickets.
Yeah.
So
no, they're going to go. It seems inevitable that they're going either tight end or offensive line. I haven't seen anything else to show otherwise. That they're either going Warren or Membao or Campbell or. But yeah, let's just say your scenario, right? Let's just say your scenario is exactly what I was saying. Is that you're saying that another quarterback goes? You're saying another quarterback goes in the top 3. That's what we're worried about. We're worried about if the situation with the Steelers is only if Shador drops, and even if he doesn't, that means there's 3 quarterbacks that seem like that. I mean, people are still are kind of pushing Milrow a little bit, Come on, guys. I don't want to see that. But it's basically Shador, Dart, and Ward. So Ward goes number one. That's. But let's just say you're right, and then two, it's Shador.
Yeah.
Um, I think they're much less likely to take Shador. I think Hunter is the worst kept secret for the Browns. I think Hunter is going two. I think three could be Shador. I think Giants could go Shador. So say Shador goes three. Four, they're not going Carter. They're most likely going either they're going to try to trade the pick or they're going to go offensive line because they already got Diggs.
But they are
I think
interested,
they
sorry to
go ahead.
cut you, they are interested in Jalen Walker.
Sure, exactly. So let's just say Jalen Walker. And that's what. So that actually works perfectly. So let's say they go Walker. Mason Graham is basically a jag. I mean, I think that's the second easiest call outside of um, Ward to the Titans. I think Jags getting Graham is an easy call. So six, they want an offensive player. I've seen Golden. I've seen Genty. I think Genty's probably the most likely. So say Genty goes. So that means that Carter is still there at seven. Jets probably ain't taking him. They're probably taking Memba. So if Carter is there at eight, which
You
is the
jump,
most likely
you
that's the
jump,
most likely scenario. We do not trade that pick, and we're great. That
right.
is if
You,
Carter is there, and that is the only scenario I think personally that we do not trade eight if it's available to trade. Because that's a generational talent that has somehow slipped to us because the Giants have chosen to go with a quarterback, and there has been no trades on the table. I think that people are going to trade ahead of us at least once. I think the Pats are really trying to get out of four. I think they're really trying to trade back now that they have Diggs. 'Cause I think Tet was going to them almost guaranteed, and they got Diggs. So I think they really want to trade back. So I think that would be one to look at if somebody's trying to trade a four to get Shador. So those are the only things in my. But no matter what, if Shador happens ahead of the Panthers, no matter what who drops, it's a good pickup for us, and we don't trade. So if anybody trades ahead of us, I think we stay. If somebody trades, and if we're the first trade, then we take it because the generational talents in this class are Hunter, Carter, Genty, um, Ward, and Mason Graham, in my opinion. And then the people that need offensive tackles because they don't exist in the league
right. And it's
or the free
also,
agent market.
right, it's also a possibility. I'm not saying the Panthers will do it, but someone seeing Shador, let's say Shador go to the Giants, which I think will be a bad mistake by them. I really do. I think they should
But it's a
go
possibility. Yeah.
right. But I could see a scenario that someone so desperate to jump ahead of the Saints to trade for eight for Jackson Downs. Now,
Me too. Yeah. Yeah. I think no matter what. Good.
but the thing is, let's say Abdul Carter is on the board, available. Someone offer you a first round in another first round, trade up. Maybe Steelers, maybe someone else. Even though it's tempting to have an extra first round next year, I say no. I say no.
No. Yeah. No. You take the generational talent. Yeah. Absolutely.
Right.
You
I
take
mean,
the bird in hand. Yeah.
but
A bird in hand is worth two in the bush. Yeah. You definitely take that generational talent. In mind. Yeah.
right.
I agree with you.
What about Jalen Walker? Do you think he's a generational talent or
No. Not compared to these guys. I think he's great. I think that he's if there isn't a good offer on the table, offer meaning like a piece plus an extra first, I think we take Jalen Walker if he's there. But I if we're offered Pickens number 21 and a first, 1 billion%, I'm leaving Jalen Walker on the board. He's a great player and perfect for our system, but I'd much rather have a guy like Mike Green, um, uh, Demetrius Knight, and George Pickens as the net, plus another first next year. Much rather have that than Jalen Walker.
Right. I don't think Green is going to drop to 21 because of the
Whoever it is, yeah, I think it's more like you be the Ezekiel. How do you say his name?
Equano.
Ezekiel.
Equano.
Yeah, yeah, Ezekiel, blah, 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 or like Malik Starks, or the once you hit, and that's why the 8 is such a crappy position until people started getting desperate at quarterback, and that's what we were hoping for. If it happens, what's really interesting is if the Browns want to come back in and try to get a quarterback, or the Giants, and we have to go all the way back to the mid 30s. That's when it starts getting really interesting. Because let's just say that say it's the Browns. Say the Browns offer us two future firsts, 30, or are they 34, and Jerry Judy. Yeah,
Eh?
I'm taking that. I'm taking that. Because then I can get Brady Swinson. I can get at 34, or offensive tackle. Like my draft is still the same, and I got my receiver in the future. Like it's those sort of things that you're kind of weighing. Um, but then I get two future firsts, and I like my team as is already because I've already spent so much money in free agency, and then I have all this draft capital in this year's draft and next year and the following year's draft. Like it's
Right.
trading back is absolutely the best case scenario unless somebody like Abdul Carter's on the board.
And the Browns, we know, typically have a historical of being dead the last couple of years. They haven't
Yeah,
been
exactly.
good.
Yeah. They're cap hell. Like they're man, they're like the Bengals. The Bengals are just trying to be relevant as long as possible to keep their owner in a spot where he can die without selling the team. I know that sounds bad, but that's kind of what it is. And the Browns are kind of the same way. They were so bad for so long that they're gonna make it be as aggressive as possible to try to have the best team possible, where they can continue to maybe make the playoffs. Like
But the
and
problem,
make terrible moves like getting like Deshaun Watson in.
yeah, I mean, the Browns, speaking of Watson, I mean, they basically keep kicking the can down the road. Instead of getting out of it, they push like the restructure, but they basically, what's up, two girls? What's up, FX? What's up, guys?
Carolina dad baby in the house.
In
Always
FX.
supporting.
Yeah, in both. It's both time.
Oh
So,
man, your flag's up upstairs, Carolina Dad. Sorry, man. I usually try to have it close by whenever you come on.
right. So, for Carolina Dad, we're talking to NFL insider and 25 years of experience, more than the Schefter, more than the Rappaport, approaching Mel Kiper junior knowledge, Brian. So anyway, we're talking about scenarios, and basically, if what the Panthers do at 8, which, speaking of the draft, it's kind of interesting that we are not hearing a lot of rumors, to be honest with you. Very
That's
quiet.
just so frustrating. Yeah, I mean it's good for the Panthers, but it sucks for us
But
as
also in general,
content creators.
but also in general. I mean, we know that the Titans are taking Cam Ward. I mean, that is
Sure.
basically, but I am interested that the Panthers have not brought in a. We don't talk about golf on this channel, Bo, unless you want to play. Golf is boring. Tiger Woods, Bo. Tiger Woods is going to win the Master. Or Phil Nicholson. One of the two. Or John David.
Some people
John
say
David.
throwback. um,
So anyway, and we're saying we don't hear a lot of rumors. It's interesting that they've not brought in Mike Green, which probably because of the field character issue, but also interested that they are not bringing in Abdul Kader for potential, but I guess
So
they, they've met with them
let,
at the combine.
yeah, let's play let's play that game, right? So let's play the game of what the Panthers are saying to us, right?
Yes,
So when's the last time we heard of a top tier visit that was scheduled? Like I know they've happened, but a top tier visit, right? It was probably Tet and Golden. Like Tet and Golden are like the last like possible at 8 people. And we talk about easy, you can say the name, Walter Nolan, Brady Swinson, Kyle Kennard, Hugh Robinson, Jalen Noel. Like these guys are all later picks and they're top 30 visits. Like these are top 30. When you get the top 8 pick, your top 30 visits should be pretty much the top 20 guys because like you want to like you that's the most important thing. That's what everybody else is doing, right? So the Browns are meeting with all these guys that are top 10 guys. Giants are meeting with all these guys that are top 10 guys. But what we're doing is meeting with the guys that are into the first and into the second, later second round picks. Edgar Salmingo, shout out to him. He does a really good job. He's at Panthers Analyst on Twitter. If you want to go to his site, he like has it all broken down of like of who the top 30 visits are, and you'll get top 30 visits of guys that like are could be seventh round picks, like or sixth round picks, and it kind of if you're saying when people talk listening, you're saying that this is sending a message, right? It either says we know no matter what that Jalen Walker is going to be our pick at 8, and nobody else is going to be there, so that's all that matters to us, and we're done even looking at anyone else. We're done all that stuff, or you're saying this pick is most likely going to be traded, and we're going to pick in the back end of the first round where Walter Nolan will be, where Donovan Ezekiel will be,
also they
where
also brought
Ursary. Go ahead.
they also brought in a linebacker. I forgot his name. Who's
Donovan
supposed
Knight. Yeah, yeah,
exactly?
no, from South Carolina. Yeah. Oh no,
No,
or Carson, yeah, Carson for
yeah,
UCLA. Carson, what's his name? Um,
exactly.
who's
In
also a middle of
Washington.
the round, second round pick. So
Right. But, I
these
mean,
guys are gonna go before 57. So why would you even be looking at these later first, early second round picks? You're basically telling us we're trading back into the first round and we're looking at all these guys. Offensive tackle, Ursary, Mbao, Strapillo, Ferguson, tight end, Jalen Noel. I mean, you're looking at all these guys that are probably getting picked ahead of you at 57, and that's basically all you're looking at. You're not going to trade up that many times ahead of 57. So what it feels like to me is you're moving back, and you're gonna have another second round pick because that's all you're really looking at. You're looking at basically say it's the Steelers, you're looking between 21 and 57. Those are the guys you're looking at. So that's why Steelers make a ton of sense. I would expect based on that specific thing that we would trade back. That's what it feels like to me.
all it's a smoke screen. All it's a
Yeah, but that's a lot of time and effort you're wasting on for one smoke screen. It these people come in. You're talking about your head coach, GM, your cap guy, your all this other stuff that you're taking time out of their days to come have these meetings with guys that you're probably not going to draft according to the smokescreen idea. That's all worth it for a smokescreen? It doesn't make sense to me. I just I see that the most likely thing that happens is a trade back or a couple trade ups where they pick several guys in the second round.
right, but it's interesting that they haven't, like I said, Abdul Kader is not brought in. Travis Hunter is not brought in. A
I
Jensen
think they just
Smith.
understand that these are just like generational talents and they're not going to be there.
Right, but
That's just my
re-
opinion. I mean, honestly,
no, you're right, but remember in our earlier mock that we did, which probably not going to happen. Like basically, we talked about the Giants taking Shador, Travis
Yeah,
Hunter, and Abdul Kader still on the board. Uh, we said that the Jets will take Will Compline. So basically, that leaves Abdul Kader for the Panthers to take, which
that would be freaking amazing. But that's still, I mean, that's just a pipe dream. I like even if we thought that somebody's going to trade ahead of us to get Abdul Carter. He just, I mean, you're talking about generational talents. Generational talents don't come to eight. They just don't. They just don't fall that far. I I I would say I would put the possibility of Abdul Carter falling to eight at 5%. But if he did, yeah, what do you need to bring him in? Just sign him. It's Abdul Carter. It's like saying that you know what, we're not going to bring in Michael Jordan. I don't want to say the same thing, but you know.
which Michael Jordan, the offensive lineman or the NBA?
Yeah,
Because the
exactly. Yeah,
offensive
exactly.
lineman played under Matt Rule, I think he's almost 60 years old and playing so many teams now. But so when do you think we will start hearing some real rumors?
I don't. I what I think. I think that you won't hear any rumors. I think that they do not want to waste a pick on safety, and you see that based on who they're not bringing in. I think that the safety will be addressed before the draft. So I think that you will see, say, Blackman or Simmons, whoever it is. I think you'll see because you just don't want to get desperate in that area because then the free agent has all the leverage because they're saying that you went to the draft and you either have to take a safety that you're required to, and we know that that's not what they want to do. And if you don't, you come out of the draft and you're desperate for these safeties, and then the player has all the leverage. I think you're gonna see a safety signed before the draft. And that's the only rumor I can see happening. I don't think anything else is going to happen. I don't think anything else is going to happen.
You know,
Maybe a receiver. Maybe a receiver is signed, but like a second tier receiver, like a uh who's the Carolina Dad's guy? God, from the Titans. Carolina Dad, put it in the chat. If you're still on. I think a second tier receiver would be the only other guy that would be signed before the draft.
but
But other than that, like you're at eight. You can't. There's no rumors. How can you have rumors? You don't know what's going to happen. There's seven people that pick it ahead of you.
no, I think honestly they know. They will probably know by next week what is going to happen. I would
I think they
say,
already know.
yeah, but what I found interested, they hold a press conference about 2 weeks
Westbrook
ago.
and King is what I'm thinking of. Westbrook and King is the receiver I was talking about. Go
Yeah.
ahead.
So thank you. So about 2 weeks ago, they did all the press conference, which is very unusual, very unusual for them to hold the press conference free agency. They typically in the past all the press conference. I'm talking about general manager, assistant, this case cap analyst. They
Oh
typically
shoot, I
hold.
missed that. I missed that he got super with the Dolphins. Sorry, I didn't mean to.
Sure, sure.
Westbrook and King got picked up by the Dolphins.
Yeah, thank
Asshole.
you, Dad. So it's interesting that because in the past they never hold a press conference right at the end of free agency. They always hold the press conference right before the draft. So that I found it very interesting that Dan Morgan spoke to the media. They typically speak at the end of the season, like end of the Super Bowl, at the combine, and then the day before the draft, and then of course after the draft they announce the players and so on. But they
Mm.
never speak at free like at the end of free agency, 3 weeks after free agency, which I found it very interesting to be honest with you that they
Yep.
did.
Yeah. The thing that the through line that they've given recently, is patience. That we're going to be patient with our plan. So they have a plan, and you basically have to just put everything together. Canales has said he wants touchdown makers. You know that you've heard Dan Morgan said playmakers on both sides of the ball, and they haven't addressed either one yet, right? They haven't addressed playmakers on either side of the ball, and they've been saying these things for a while now that it's just so. And they said add, like, so this whole thing about Excel being like the wide receiver one, he might be right. Like he really might be what they consider wide receiver one. But the amount of times that they said that we want to add playmakers on both sides of the ball, and it ain't Rico Dowdle. Like Rico Dowdle is a good player, but Rico Dowdle wasn't Rico Dowdle until the last 8 games of the season last year. People were talking about like who are they going to bring in to be running back one, and then like Rico Dowdle, he had a good end of the season last year, and that's what we need to also understand is that just because guys have had good ends of the seasons these past few years doesn't mean that they are fully developed. Like even Bryce Young, I like Bryce Young a lot. He had a good 8 game stretch, 7 game stretch, but so did guys like Wanham, and so did guys like Ashawn Robinson, and it it's got to be because they've said it. We got to stop saying that they're good with what they have at whatever it is, receiver, safety, anything, right? So they're going to address these things somehow, some way, and I don't think they're going to just do it in the draft. But if they do it in the draft, I think they're gonna get pass rushers, receivers, safeties, cornerbacks. They're coming. And that's just what I see.
And we mentioned visit wise, each team has 30 visit. Does local visit count as one of the 30, or that is
No, it
that
doesn't count one of the 30. That's
so
why I think guys like I think Jalen Walker might even be like a local visit because he's from. I don't think he was a top 30 visit.
okay, so basically like is there radius of miles or the states that they're from or
I think
how
it's the miles. I think it's the miles of where you're living, not even what school you go to, but like where you live. Um,
oh,
because like they
because
had guys like Bashard Smith, I think is from close by, and la, 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 la. Demetrius Knight, I think is from close by, and uh, James Pierce. I think I'm not positive about that kind of stuff, but I think like all those are considered local visits.
right, because I saw the other NFL expert out there, Mel Kiper Jr. mention a mock draft. Yes, Jalen Walker and Isaiah Bond. One first
Oh,
round.
dude, I would love that. I don't. Isaiah Bonnie dropping to 57. We gotta get
Yes,
over. We gotta get over these receivers dropping. They ain't dropping. It's the new NFL. Like receivers aren't gonna drop. And you just maybe the guy like Jack Beck will be there at 57, but there's too much historical data showing that because in our minds, this is in our minds, right?
right,
We think that the only first round picks that are going to happen are Tet, Golden, Egbuka, and um, Burden, right? Maybe like some people think that they're going to some one of them are going to drop to the second round. More likely than not, we're going to see those four plus Trey Harris plus Jaden Higgins plus Royals in the top 35. Like more than likely than not, we're going to have 7 guys in the top 35, 40. And then you just gotta hope after that you got Bond, Jack Beck, Arroyo, whatever his name is, and that's Kyle Williams. There's a possibility that there's 11 go before us at 57 in today's NFL. So you can't count on any of them being there at 57. I would hope if Isaiah Bond's there at 57, we don't take him, and we haven't taken a wide receiver yet. We're dumb. It's just ridiculous. We're talking about we want speed. It's like one of the fastest guys in the draft. Anyway,
So in a way, the 57 pick is kind of a late, very late second round.
that's what I'm saying. Yeah,
Like I'm trying
yeah.
to top of my head how many picks are in the second round.
Uh, there's 32 plus. So at 64 would be the end of definitely the end of the second round if there's no comp picks. But I don't know if there's any comp second picks.
Right. So
So it's,
we are basically drafting almost like a comp pick. Of course, it's not a
sure,
comp.
yeah, sure,
So,
almost where Trevon Walker was picked.
right. So it's very late second, and you don't think we will trade up in the second?
Something's gonna happen. Either we're trading back from the. There's too many guys that are projected as late first, early second picks that we've talked to. We're eyeing drafting either trading up or trading back. I think it's more likely we're trading back based on the quarterback rumors that are happening. But either way, I think we're going to trade up. But I think that if we don't trade back, I think we're trading up for like an offensive tackle. Honestly,
Yeah.
they've been really big on looking at offensive tackles.
So, anyways, that was a great show tonight. We're going on for an hour. Think we need to save some energy for next week.
Yeah, man, it was fun. Sorry, I just like kept going.
Sure, no. It's always great you have you on. I mean, obviously you have 25 years
Of
NFL
experience. Yeah.
and Grant. I mean, if you want to talk about the article about Des Bryant that you wrote about, feel free to
Yeah,
share
yeah,
it.
yeah, 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 yeah. Me and
Not we'll
Dez, yeah, he's like a second cousin.
so we'll save that for next week. So we'll definitely plan for next week unless something doesn't work out. So at the very least, we'll do a show right before the draft on
Yeah,
Wednesday, which I'm sure by that night we'll know probably what is going to happen.
we'll see. Yeah, been real quiet.
Yep, we'll definitely do that. So guys, stay tuned, smash the like button, subscribe, and thank you very much, Alex, for joining us. We'll see you on the next show. Good night, everyone.
Appreciate it, man.
Thanks. Likewise.